All right, welcome, welcome. This is our final webinar session about learning in Germany in our Welcome to Germany webinar sessions. And we at DEGIS welcome you with our open arms and very cold weather in Germany. uh, thank you so much for joining and taking out time. And I hope you all have fun. Let's dive into it. So let's get into the agenda for today. Our today's agenda is, of course, introductions where we will get to know each other, get to know our common struggles in German learning. We already did a small session a couple minutes ago. The next topic would be why to learn German, why is it important, and just a sense of reasoning in order to work for us as a motivation, followed by learning German as a student. As a student, we do student jobs, we study a lot, we have 20-25 hours of classes plus work. It's very hard to find out time. And that's why we will discuss some tricks and tips to just find time within our busy schedules to devote to learning German, because at the end, why learn German is important. Uh, then we will get into some free resources. It would be some things which we have personally collected with our experience and our studies. And I hope it will be really helpful for you all. Then we will discuss some of the questions which everybody asked in the form that was shared with the registration link. And of course, those are topics by you, for you. We'll try to answer it as per our expertise. And we have a very big expert here in German. You will just get to know him very soon. In the end, we would have some space for final questions and networking. So sit tight. A little bit about us. So first of all, we are DEGIS, and my name is Aarushi. I am the DEGIS National President. I am from New Delhi, India, and I moved to Berlin about 3 years ago. My current German level is B2, and I am, of course, just like you all, I'm every day learning, trying to be better at German. And some of these tips are something which is some of them are very close to me because my struggles are also exactly the same. The next one is Dhruv. I would give the stage to him.
Yep, thank you, Aarushi. I hope everyone can hear me well because I've had problems with my earphones for some time now. So quick introduction about myself. My name is Dhruv. I am 21 years of age. I came to Germany 2.5 years ago to study mechanical engineering. Now I'm in my 4th semester and I'm learning completely in German, like 100% in German. That's why I have achieved the level C1. But even though I have the C1 level, I am still learning every day. Like the vocabulary never stops. Like you never stop learning. But I have I still have a good German knowledge, which helps me every day, and which helps me in my studies and my everyday life. So, yep, that's about it.
All right, thank you, Dhruv. A little bit about DEGIS and who are we. So we are a community of international students. Some of you have already attended many of the calls that were happening in the past few months. Our mission is to support every international student in order to achieve their dreams and goals. And we try to address every challenge and help international students in all the sectors that come in their lives in Germany. Our online community count is 38,350 members, counted until yesterday. And we have a total of 40 different German cities. We have local teams in a total of 40 different German cities. That's a little bit about us. Now, we would really love to know about you. So please take 2-3 minutes and type on the chat box your name, your where you're from, what is your German level, and where are you in terms of the language right now? What is your common struggle, or what is something that you don't feel that okay, it's getting better with time? Just keep it brief though. Go ahead. And of course, feel free to share your socials as well. Okay, we have the first. Okay, Noor with B1. Noor B1. Hello, Kanishka. And Kanishka is also B1. Okay, I was expecting a lot of B1s in Atswai tonight. Then we have Krishna and okay. He's from Dortmund. All right, guys, just one more minute. Then we have Simran with Atswai. A2. Okay, Eric is also with Krishna, so you guys can actually practice together sometimes. All right. Thank you so much. You guys can keep doing this on the chat box, and let's get into why should we learn German. So, why does German matter? There are so many countries within Europe where German is kind of like the official language, at least the second language. Germany, as its own, is a very economically strong country, and that promotes a lot of tourism around Europe, and most of the tourists are from Germany. This created a barrier throughout the history, not a barrier, sorry, this created a gateway throughout the history for German to be an accepted language within Europe. And many countries, including Belgium, Switzerland, Luxembourg, of course, even Liechtenstein, and Austria speak German as one of their dominant languages. So, of course, it gives you a lot of mobility. It's not a language which will stop you from moving around, and it is not simply restricted to Germany. And of course, since you all are students in Germany, then it gives you a career boost. It gives you cultural access. It gives you ease to travel and also academic advantage, like our friend Dhruv here, who's actually doing his entire course in German, which is not at all his first language. Business opportunities for sure, networking opportunities, and upskilling yourself in German. Now, when I say upskilling, what I mean here is most jobs actually require, based on their sectors, a certain level of German language to handle the bureaucracy, to handle the paperwork, which is usually thus done in German. For sure, there are many English speaking jobs. I myself do an English speaking job, but that restricts us in the overall, on an average, in the current pool of applicants. And in order to get ahead in Germany, especially because it is your host country at the end of the day, it's kind of very important to learn the language, and that's why we have gathered. Moving forward, I'm going to give the stage back to Dhruv to explain how to learn German as a student.
Yeah, this will be a lot. So, as from my experience, learning German as a student was so I cheated a bit because I had a kickstart at school because I had to learn German at school for 5 years, but it didn't bring me anything actually. So I started from like zero, from like nothing. Yeah. Like moving on to the next slide. Um, so if you are not a complete completely fluent in German, there are some like common phrases that you could use every day that I don't use personally because it's a bit weird knowing how that I've been in Germany for 2.5 years. Uh, some people don't say it, but you could say it. It could like it could be funny, probably, and you could embarrass yourself a bit. For example, tschüss, everyone says tschüss. Was ist los? It's like what's going on in like what's up. Danke, of course. Schlaf gut und Traum was Schönes. This is something I don't no one says, but you could use it.
Maybe Dhruv, you can express how to pronounce the umlauted
Ah,
A's
yeah.
and L.
Yeah, so the umlaut is like, oh, it's really like it depends on how you open your vocal cords in some ways. Like let's say if there's two, like the umlaut on the A, it's like not A, it's not I mean in German it's not A, it's A. And if it's on O, it would not be O but Ö. And if it's on the U, it will not be U but U, which is really hard for some people. Like let's say from I know some people from India who can't properly pronounce it because of course of the language and because of the accent and everything. But it takes time, but no one will judge you because they all know Germans know that we are learning the language, and it makes them happy that we're learning the language, knowing how hard it is sometimes with pronunciation, grammar, and everything. But it just takes some time. It took me a lot of time to just pronounce the words and pronounce and just learn the language in general in some simpler ways to say it. Yeah.
Yeah. You don't want to read them out?
I could.
Yeah, go for it.
Das ist nicht mein Bier, which means that's not my beer. Could be helpful if people from Munich go to Oktoberfest because some people steal the beers, from what I've heard. Blau machen is a word that I don't know actually. Oh, that's something I don't know. Like I said, like you learn the language every day. I learn new words every day. Die Nase voll haben, which means I've had enough. Machen wir so, it's let's do it like this, literally. And wie geht's? How are you? This is like something that you could use every day. Ich glaube, ich spinne, which ich glaube, ich spinne. It's how can I say it? It's like I think I'm losing my mind some ways, yeah. Da liegt der Hund begraben. Also something that I don't know. Don't judge me because I'm also a student. I really don't know. Entschuldigung, I'm sorry. Alles klar, all good. It's like wie geht's, but like a bit more slang. Viel Glück, good luck. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. In general, these are some common phrases which you can use in your day-to-day life, and this is for everybody who cannot pronounce the umlauts. It's like träum. This word, it would be träum, right?
Träum, yeah.
Träum. Okay, moving on.
So another way that I've learned German as well is just socializing and just exposing myself to the language. So I will go point to point and explain it how I did learn German like a bit quicker. So attending upcoming online Sprachtreffen Meetup by DEGIS, I discovered DEGIS this year, which helped me a lot in my entrepreneurship, and also in different DEGIS can help you in like different sectors, just like the language. You could like learn the language of other internationals if you don't have any German friends, and just force yourself to speak it, because the more you force yourself to speak it, the quicker you're going to learn, kind of basically. Make friends who speak German. Like I said, like you don't need to have German friends. Knowing how the culture is, if you don't know the culture, it's really hard to make German friends. in most of the cases. But if you don't have German friends, you could like make international friends who speak German and just practice it every day. This is what I did 2 years ago when learning the language. I was in a class with like full of internationals who couldn't speak German, but we still forced ourselves to learn the language, which helped us a lot because we all passed our exam to enter university. Talking German with strangers, yes, you have to expose yourself. Let's say the Christmas markets are coming up right now, and I don't think everyone speaks German at the stands. So just force yourself and don't be embarrassed because you're not the first one who did a grammatic error, or like who doesn't know how to speak German really well. It happens every day. Even people that have been here for like 30, 40 years can't speak better German than you probably. And last point, Hello Talk and Tandem, which I personally didn't use, but you could use for sure because why not? There's so much ways to learn German. Knowing how many people speak it and in how many countries the language is spoken, not even in Europe, even in South America and North America. So yeah, that's it. And I will give you some tips and tricks on how to learn, like vocabulary wise, how to learn the words quicker, labeling everything. So like, let's say you just discovered a word. Don't repeat it. Could help you, but what I did personally, I took a sticky note, wrote the word down, and under the word, I just wrote the English translation, sticked it on my wall, and then every day when I would walk past it and I would see it, it would be like it would go quicker in my head. It would be easier to remember because if I would see it every day, the word and the translation, it just go as for me, but it could help you, could not help you. It really depends. Like everyone's different, but this is what helped me, like labeling everything, putting sticky notes on walls, and for new words that I didn't know. And yeah, uh, set up reminders. Yeah, Duolingo, Babbel. We can like Duolingo. Probably not. Babbel's better than Duolingo, I think, but it's really helpful knowing if you still didn't start a German course, you could still have some basic knowledge on German, like hello, how are you? My name is. You could introduce yourself with Duolingo. You could learn really quickly. Just it's just on your phone when you have nothing to do. Just open Duolingo and learn it. Participate in the German media marathon. Yeah, like you could watch German, like just be exposed to everything, like media wise, socially, everything, like especially media wise. Like I just take up everything that what people are saying. Like watch everything in German. Series helped me a lot. Songs probably not. I don't like German songs, but yeah, German series, German videos, documentaries, and everything. They really helped me a lot with like vocabulary and like understanding the language because the written German is different than how people speak it. Talk to yourself. Yes, like uh, talk. Look at yourself in the mirror and just talk and talk. You could like if you have like German A1 level, you could like introduce yourself with what you've learned in the German language course or anywhere basically if you learn it yourself, and perfect. Just like talk to yourself in the mirror and just say hello, my Name is, and so on. Make your grocery list in German. Really important because when you go to supermarkets like Lidl, Edeka, and so on, not everything would be translated into English, and some words are like let's say mustard, for example, is not mustard. It's not like it doesn't even look. The German word for mustard doesn't even look like the English word. It's like Senf, which could confuse you a lot. So please, if you could do your grocery list in German, could help you with your vocabulary as well, and could help you in your everyday life when you go to the supermarket, because German supermarkets sometimes could be a nightmare for newcomers in Germany. Practicing one word of the day, yeah, or many words actually. Like I said, like you could label a lot of words at the same time and learn them if you're like a if you're a quick learner. Yeah, I mean, there are lots of ways as well which don't come up to my mind right now, but everyone's creative, everyone can learn in different ways, but that's mainly like the basic things that most of the people do, like what I did, what my surrounding of my international friends did, and it helped us a lot, really a lot. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, Dhruv. Even I want to add on to a few points here for people who are very new to learning German. So the 5-minute Duolingo or Babbel thing, it can really spice up your train journeys. For example, when you're going from one place to another, like how much time do we spend listening to music? Instead, maybe spend those minutes doing a single Duolingo lesson. You can also invite your friends, because Duolingo is a crazy good app just to keep you updated. It won't make you proficient, or it won't give you a level in German, but it'll really help you to get in the pace. The initial momentum setting with Duolingo is very helpful, and it also is not very good for pronunciation, but it's very good for remembering some small words. Like, I had never heard the word hexe, for example, which means nothing but a witch. So the hexe is something I learned only on Duolingo. Sure, I might not need to use it, but handy in terrible situations with bad people. Just suggesting. Moving forward, some resources to learn German. Now, this is very near to me because honestly, I'm actively learning German right now, and some of these resources are right here next to me in my table. So, some paperback resources. These are some books which have helped me and our fellow DEGIS colleagues and mates. So C Grammatic, it is for advanced grammar. So even if you are at level A, you can still buy the C one because it includes all the information, and at some point you will reach C. So this will help you improve your vocabulary and also advanced grammar. It has literally pages and pages of correct articles. So it has like tables of their, thus, and this will be really, really helpful. And it's not very expensive also. I think it's 10 euros or something, but it takes you to see German very nicely. Then there is Pons. It can be also learned at all different levels. It is another tool for phrases and idioms. So basically, every language is uh, every language has a structuring pattern. For example, in English, how we would say, yeah, I am shy. However, in my mother tongue, in Hindi, I would always say, the shyness comes to me, like in Hindi. And this is a similar pattern of German as well. People, people construct sentences in a more poetic manner than in regular English. Same comes with the Z form, do form, and how to use them, and which sentences work in there. So these things are really helpful when you read more about it or you hear more about it. So this can't come from any German course. This will only come from your self-practice or self-study. So some books are really helpful for particularly these things. Moving forward is Deutsche Perfekt. That's again for grammar tips, reading comprehensions, practical vocabulary. You don't need to know each and every word when you read a paragraph. You need to be able to understand the gist. You need to be able to summarize it in your own words and then pick up the words that you don't know to improve your vocabulary. This is just a trick that helped me quite a lot of times. Langenscheid grammatic training is again for comprehensive grammar exercises specifically. It might have, I haven't personally used this book, but it might have fill in the blanks and fill in the blanks, comprehensions, maybe picture descriptions, because that is really sometimes a simple picture could have so much vocabulary potential you won't even realize. So this is sometimes really, really helpful. Some online resources. How many of you already know about Leo.org? Maybe raise your hands or something. But with the gesture, like, okay, Rohan knows about it. At least now I know no one's, people are not sleeping. So I think only Rohan knows about it. So for rest of you, Leo.org is the most comprehensive online dictionary. It has so many sentence examples. It is a little hard to use as the user interface is not the best, I must say. But if you maybe Google or YouTube how to use Leo.org to its maximum potential, it can really spice up your overall German learning experience, because the kind of usage of each and every word which is possible in the language is actually mentioned within Leo.org. So it really helps you when to use what word and in what context specifically. Next, of course, listening to news. So it kills, two birds with one stone. If you listen to news podcasts or just Deutsche Welle updates, and instead of reading, if you don't feel like reading, you can always listen to it, or you can switch between options, but it keeps you updated with the news within Germany, which is also a very important thing. I learned it a very hard way, guys. Please watch news, please learn news irrespective of the language you watch it in. But yes, news in German language is very helpful. Same, it comes on ZDF, it comes on Deutsche Welle. You can have a newspaper because Germany is very, very paperback, as you all might know. And some podcast suggestions are already here. Of course, you will get this deck after the call is over. You will receive the whole presentation, but you can take a screenshot of this and maybe check out these podcasts if they help you. It's always a plus, even if it helps one person out of 21 here. Maybe take a screenshot and we move forward. And one step ahead is, of course, getting online or either self-paced or proper Goethe Institute courses. Anki and Memories is also a very good source to learn German. You can watch movies, media. Right now, there are so many even Instagram pages which are just about learning German. They might have, I mean, many of you are Indians here. There are so many pages right now. They're just popping out of nowhere and they translate like really nice Bollywood movies in German, literally. So it could be fun because you already know the story. It would be easier for you to comprehend. And then it will increase your vocabulary as well as article knowledge. Then there are many, many YouTube channels out there. Some of them are listed here: Learning German with Anya, Easy German, and Deutsch für euch. Then some of the topics are by you and for you. Here we will again use Dhruv's expertise in German to answer some of the questions which were asked by you all. So how to learn German, and specifically the structuring of a German sentence, for example, written and spoken. So before Dhruv gets to comment with his expertise, one thing I want to mention, that think of German more like a maths problem. So 9 minus 5 has only one answer, for example. Similarly, German grammar is very easy to understand once you get it. Of course, there are some exceptions, but as a whole, it works in a very mathematical manner, like an equation. So try to analyze that when you study. That is from me. Dhruv, what do you think? Does it make sense what I just said?
Yeah, it does. It's actually just the same recipe all around with the same grammar, because German is not that complicated grammatically. Okay, maybe accusative, dative, people that are still in A1, well, this will be your nightmare, so good luck. But yeah, it's almost the same recipe all the time in the written part, but the spoken part is the trickiest part, I think, because I've before I started uni, I've learned the High German, so the German that is written like in the constitution, which in Germany we say Hochdeutsch, which is literally translated to High German. But then when I started uni, and then when I heard people speak and the way they speak it, so first of all, they speak quicker, which makes sense because it's their language. I'm not the one to judge. And they have a lot of like shortened and other words uh, to express themselves. So let's say people who know ich habe keine Lust, which means I don't want to do it, or like I don't have
Interest.
any will to do it. The slang way to say it is like ich hab kein Bock, which is like the slang way to say it. So you really have to be careful because yes, you have to learn the high standard German, but you also have to learn the slang German, which is spoken by most people that are under 60. And I don't want you to speak to like people who are over 60 because it doesn't make sense.
Then you have to learn the Z form.
Yeah.
One more thing that just came to my mind is people shy away from speaking German only because they are not confident as to what article would go in front of the noun or the pronoun. No, not the pronoun, noun or the common noun. So, what is your take on that, Dhruv? What do you think if I mess up an eine or eine, how big a deal? Like, would people not talk to me? What?
Uh, knowing how international Germany is becoming right now, and knowing how many people on the streets don't speak German or don't speak that well German, it's not a big deal to mess up how you build your sentence or how you pronounce the words, because Germans know that you are learning German. Like I've said before, they will not judge you. Even they to quite the opposite. They will be proud that you are learning the language, and they will be more than happy to correct you in their German ways. Of course, they will not be like so warm because Germans, but they will correct you, and they will still show that you're not your mistake is not that much of a big deal.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I started talking to my roommates because I have many German roommates, and I started talking to them in literally just the language. I make so many errors. I speak in such a bad way sometimes, but they are very happy to correct me when I ask them to correct. Sometimes you're not in the mood to be correct, and if you're learning, you can't constantly receive feedback, and it becomes annoying. So feel free to ask because, as we know, the culture is very direct also. So it's fine to just say, okay, hey, not today. Just listen to me in the. And it's completely fine. No one would be offended by this small request because at the end, it's also a choice that you are making to learn something new. And that choice alone should be appreciated. And you should appreciate it before anyone else does. Okay, the next question was, how do I find time to learn Java? So, Dhruv, when you were, let's say, at B1 level, because I think you moved to Germany after that, right?
Yeah.
So, when you were at my level, let's say, how much time did you spend to reach to C1 per week?
uh per week, so I had really intensive courses. It was like every day 3 hours,
Mhm.
but because I came to Germany to learn the language first of all, so I had all the time in the world just to learn the language. But for people that work, people that have other things to commit, there's Duolingo. Just pick up your phone. You're laying on your bed. You have nothing to do. You're just looking at your ceiling. Just pick up your phone and learn the language. Open YouTube and watch Easy German. Because it has Easy German. I don't know if you know how the video goes, but they interview people on the street. there will be the German subtitles, and under German subtitles there will be the English translation. So after this, you could like pick up a book, or like pick up a pen and a paper and just write the new words you're learning, and next to it, English translation, which is what I use to learn new vocabulary, like new words every day. But
Absolutely.
people who don't have time, yeah, Duolingo, or like really like just when you have time, or when you have the will to wanting to learn German, pick up something that could like something interactive, something in a fun way that could make you learn German.
Yeah. And I would say switch between different ways. Don't make it a routine to just read a page, let's say. Make it a routine to do something in a particular amount of time. So use the block strategy. Block your calendar to learn German, but every week in a different way, maybe. So it will give you a more, uh, how do you say, more intensified learning, and more, what is the word I'm looking for? More varied learning in different sectors. So there are many ways to just include German in your daily routine. For example, when you're watching a show, and if you don't feel like, okay, you don't want to watch the whole show in German because it's too much work and it was already a long day, it happens to all of us. You can just put German subtitles. Don't listen in German on that day. Even if you pick 5 new words throughout a 3 hour movie, you're still in the plus. You're still better than watching a 3 hour movie only in the language you already know. So, including it in varied ways based on your particular day's motivation would be my suggestion to find time to learn German. Other than that, if you want like a brief description of how many hours you should spend so you can space it out, I would say about 2 to 3 hours a week should be possible in the busier schedule. And if it's not, then you have to take it out. So let's put it this way, that you find in your calendar a color for German learning, and you space it out throughout the week for 2 hours. Does that sound doable, guys? Maybe this? Okay. Moving forward, how to learn and understand German language in order to be able to integrate very well. So Dhruv has already spoken a little bit about this throughout the call, but do you have any pointers, Dhruv?
Like how to learn and understand the German language.
To be
I,
able to
I've
integrate yourself better.
Yeah, I've said it like just if you want to understand better German, because this is what you will use every day in German. They speak really quickly compared to what you have been used to, like the listening comprehensions in German classes. They speak way quicker and with different words. If you want to adapt to it, you really have to open your ears and try to pick up the key words so that you could like understand the context of the sentences if you can't understand the completely the sentence or what they're saying, which is still what I do till today, because some people speak so quickly that I can't understand. And uh, another way to integrate and to like be able to like be to to adopt the German culture is, yeah, understanding how what they're saying, even though you're answering in like the most broken German way, it's fine. Just like try to expose yourself to like videos or like audios, or like there's like so many videos, so many audios, like podcasts and everything that you can use to try to understand what they're saying, so that when you go out in your everyday life, it's easier for people to understand. My only motivation to be able to understand German is like the old grannies trying to gossip in the train, and this helped me a lot. So now I understand what they're saying.
Right. Um, so some ways to expand your network outside of university and for social and experiential learning. So I'm not saying try to overhear people speaking or be nosy about it. but it wouldn't hurt if when your friends are talking in German, you don't walk away from the conversation. Just be there. I know it's hard. It increases some sort of social anxiety to be in a group and not be able to contribute to a conversation. But sometimes being on the listening end gives you the gift of knowledge. So if you are on the listening end of a German conversation, don't walk out. That is my first tip to learn German and increase your social and experiential learning. Then, of course, as Dhruv said, and how I want to how I cannot emphasize more on, when you go and buy your groceries, when you go and buy yourself dinner, anything, try to have a conversation with the person serving you or the person behind the counter. The thing is, you should know this. They are supposed to have a small conversation with you. It is kind of like their job description, and it'll give you an opportunity to speak a few words. When in doubt, don't ask anyone about the train timing in English. Don't say Ich kann nicht Deutsch sprechen. I would suggest Ich kann nicht Deutsch sprechen should be banned for anyone who's motivated enough to learn German. So maybe we take this away. This could be our major takeaway from this call. So bitte nicht sagt, ich kann nicht Deutsch sprechen am die Straße. So never say that on the streets that you cannot speak German. Bitte sag mal auf English off the table. And maybe that could help you all to expand your network, expand your social experiential learning of the German language.
Or just tell them also, like, if you can't understand them, just tell them, can you speak a bit slower?
Langsam. Yeah.
Yeah, langsam.
Yeah, absolutely. Do that instead of saying Ich kann nicht Deutsch sprechen. Ever. Seriously. Because sometimes it happens that on your CV and in your Bescheinigungs or certificates, you speak B1 German, but on the streets, you are just, okay, ich kann nicht sehr gut Deutsch sprechen. Let's not go there. Okay. So finally, we tackled all the topics that were asked by the attendees, and I open space for any final questions whatsoever. So guys, please feel free to turn on your cameras, your mics, and ask me any questions you might have. And Dhruv, of course.
I'm Kanishka, and I am currently doing B1, but I have a question for Dhruv because I am also here just for German learning right now. I'm not doing any university or a job. So I just want to learn German. So I want to know, apart from classes, like what I could do to improve it, or maybe like learn more words. I have a problem. I don't know. I just can't seem to learn words easily. So yeah, any tips would be great.
Yeah, so I've mentioned it before in like one of the slides. Just, if you, let's say if you repeat or if you see one thing every day, it will stick in your head, right? And that's why I mentioned the sticky notes situation. Like, you learn a new word. If you have problems with like learning word, problems learning vocabulary, like just directly take a sticky note, write the word in German, and write the English translation. If it's or in your mother tongue, depends however you want, and just stick it on your wall. And then every time you go past it, you just look at it, and then at some point, you will look at it so much that it will just stick in your head, and it will be like a new word that you've learned, and a new word that will not get out of your head. Second thing as well, yeah, you can learn the word, but if you don't use it and if you don't like practice with the word, like if you don't like build a sentence with the word and try to understand the word, it will also get out of your head. Like, you can come out in one ear and go out in the other. So if you have problem with like the learning word part. And another way, it's like just listening to like the German language every day. Not music, because German music is bad, but documentaries, videos about different like subjects. Like, there's There was like one channel, but I forgot. It was like 2 years ago. I forgot completely. But just type like German documentaries in German, or like 10-minute videos in German, and just watch them, and it will be so helpful.
Yeah, there is also this for A1, A2, not A1, A2, like up to B1 level, there is this YouTube short series, like what is it called? YouTube webinar? No. There are webisodes. Yeah, webisodes called Easy auf Deutsch. It's so fun. It's like watching Friends, but in German, and it is with Germans. It's really nice.
Yeah, thank you so much for this. You're really helpful.
And another thing as well, so I've stayed in Germany. I didn't go back to Mauritius. So I didn't mention it, but I didn't mention in my introduction. I am from Mauritius, which is a small island in the Indian Ocean next to Madagascar. Normally I go back during the holidays, but I didn't. I stayed in Germany and worked, and I work in German. So I had interactions with German people. I had interaction with my German chef and everything, and it helped me so much in like understanding how they speak and learning new words every day. So if you have the opportunity to learn to work like small jobs, I don't know if you're working. I worked in the supermarket, and it helped me so much because I had interaction with old German people, uh, younger ones. My chef, they can't speak English, so of course I had to force myself to speak German. And knowing that I already knew German, I just improved it more. So you could work as well completely in German. That could help you a lot.
Yeah, I have tried to apply for some jobs, but the thing is, they want a higher level of German, like probably like a B2 or something. So most of the times it doesn't go the way I expect it to. But yeah, thank you for just the advice.
Yeah, sure.
All right. Thank you so much, Kanishka. We will come back to the question space. I just would like to stop the recording before that. So a little bit more about us. So we are DEGIS, and we work in different parts of Germany in over 40 different cities. And we have city chapters, which are teams of volunteers which work in these cities. Dhruv is the leader of one of our city chapters in Hanover. And to become a volunteer with us benefits you in various sectors in working and experiencing cross-cultural communication, as well as leading intercultural teams and leading as a student other fellow students. The areas that we work in is HR, marketing, events, business development, and leadership, which is Dhruv is one of the leaders that we have. And as a volunteer, you also get to connect the overall local community, gain more practical experience within the country. And of course, it also enhances your potential to organize stuff like how we just did this today for your community and your city. I encourage you all to uh, please find us online. And this is a link which I think Noor or Dhruv either can just share on the chat. And please apply with us and join us so we can grow, and so all of you can also get to know within your cities the different international students and what challenges you all face can be solved together. In the end, we are all international students who are aspiring to make a life in Germany, and that's what we are here for. So we are currently in our final stage of recruitment, ending tomorrow. So it's the last few times to apply, and please go for it and sign up. Thank you so much for attending the Welcome to Germany sessions. And this was the last session. We will come up with more such events very, very soon. Thank you so much for coming here. And now it's time for the networking space, and I'm going to shut the recording. And then we can go back to questions.